पानी रे पानी तेरा रंग कैसा, जिसमें भी मिला दो लगे उस जैसा। इस दुनिया में जीने वाले ऐसे भी हैं जीते, रूखी सूखी खाते हैं और ठंडा पानी पीते। Friends, this is a very popular old song from the 1972 movie Shore, which confirms the importance of water to millions of Indians who were poor but at least could get some cold water to drink. This is not true of our new India. Cities and villages are going dry, and it seems that the next civil strife in India would be happening on water. I'm Chandra Kishore, founder of Indian Environment Network, going live today with Sandeep Chakravorty, Consul General of India in New York. Sandeep, welcome to this show.
Hello, Chandra Kishore. I'm so happy to be with you on this show.
I'm very fortunate to have you, Sandeep. You are also a very dear friend of mine and a classmate from Indian Institute of Forest Management, Bhopal. And that's why a diplomat discussing about forest and conservation in India would not be odd at this point of time. And Sandeep, before I start, congratulations for joining our Day Out with a Star platform initiative as a star mentor. A very happy 4th of July to you. Happy Independence Day. Welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Chandra Kishore. Happy Independence Day to all my friends in the United States. I am not sure whether I am a star or not, but of course, I have some life experience which I am very happy to share with your viewers.
What caught my attention, Sandeep, is your recent article where you termed water crisis in India as an opportunity to place water on top of the conservation pyramid and rejuvenate the entire Indian ecosystem from the grounds up. Can you elaborate a little on water crisis in India right now and how that can become an opportunity for all of us?
Yeah, I think, what motivated me to write about this article was, our leadership, our political leadership has, decided to catch the bull by its horns. And when Prime Minister Modi got this mandate in the recent elections, he got such a huge majority.
Right.
He could have, focused on many other things that are, very attractive or may have appealed to the elite of the country or made news headlines. But what I found striking was that he focused on water. And I believe that the most remarkable thing in his new government has been creation of this new ministry called Jal Shakti, where they, under one ministry, has put together various departments which deal with water and decided to adopt an integrated approach. So these environmental and natural resource issues have always been peripheral to the mainstream of Indian politics and mainstream of the Indian leadership. I have worked on wasteland development in my youth. I worked on forest management issues, joint forest management. I have never seen it to be in the mainstream of the political discourse.
Right.
But Prime Minister Modi, he's a great disruptor. He does things which are out of the ordinary and takes everyone by surprise. So I think the biggest disruptive, in a very positive sense, act was creation of this ministry and the focus that he gave on water issues. Within days of taking over as Prime Minister, he wrote a letter to all the Gram Pradhans of India. I think, 600,000 Gram Pradhans or something.
Right.
He wrote a personal letter to each one by name.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the whole focus of that letter was on water conservation, saying that the monsoons are coming, the country is facing water stress. You are the right people to take action, and and I think it created such a big buzz in the country and excitement, and in many parts of India, people started talking about it. It became a talking point in the villages.
And to put you in perspective, basically, what are you talking about? Like, I saw your article, and it says that Niti Aayog says that 600 million Indian face high to extreme water stress. 200,000 people die every day due to the water scarcity. Is that right?
I don't think, there is a lot of scaremongering going on. There was a report which has come out that by the year 2021, 25 cities of India will all the groundwater will be depleted. I think some of these stories are absolutely bogus.
Okay.
These stories are propagated very quickly by social media. It only means that we will do nothing. The country will do nothing. The leadership will do nothing. We will sit on our chairs and with our hands folded, and we will not work. You see the amazing work which is going on in India. If you let me finish what I was saying,
Yeah.
within days he held a Niti Ayog meeting with the chief ministers of all the states, and there were 5-point action agenda. The first 3 were on water, rural livelihoods, and agriculture, which again mean it is related to water, because water plays a big role in rural livelihoods and in agriculture. So I am very enthused by this focus of the political leadership of the government, the bureaucracy and the administration on water, and I think this was lacking before. There is all kinds of data about India being water stressed and all that, but I think India receives the highest rainfall that any major country receives in the world. So the opportunity is there coming from the top. We have to just make sure that we do not let the water go away, and make sure the water is available for drinking.
Would you compare this current movement as the earlier movement, Project Tiger and Project Jal Shakti, where we are again putting like Tiger at the top of the pyramid? Now we are putting water at the top of the pyramid so it can have a trickle down effect?
You see, I think, whatever people may say, forest conservation of India is a success story. We have been able to protect our forests. There are a lot of pressure. There is no doubt about it. But if you see reasonably, we have done reasonably well. It could have been worse. We still have a great amount of biodiversity in our forests. We have a great amount of wildlife in our forests. The tiger conservation story could have been worse. We could have absolutely lost the tiger, but that's not true. The tiger numbers have grown in the country. There is interesting work going on in elephant conservation. So I think the forest story is not so as gloomy as many people paint it to be. Okay. So, and I think Project Tiger played an important role in that, because tiger is top of the pyramid, and if you protect the tiger, then you protect his habitat, and you protect the other animals. I think here again, if water becomes the focus of our developmental action, if we know that we need water, then I think many other policies of the government, which some of which are not really geared towards protection and conservation of water, can be changed.
Right.
I'll give you a few examples during the course of this discussion.
No, and like as we all know, Sandeep, Rome was not built in a day, and before being a diplomat, you were a forest manager and worked with such institutes like the Society of Promotion of Wasteland Development. Tell me what field examples that you can find, real examples that give you hope.
Yeah, I am so happy that you raised this question. What happened was I gave I worked for 5 years in this field before I joined the Indian diplomatic service. What we used to do is we used to work with the communities, and we were trying to integrate protection and conservation of the land with water conservation and forestry. And we try to offer integrated models to the small farmer, and the farmer who was marginal and who could not make a living out of his tiny bit of land. I still remember that one project which we did and was very successful in the Chotanagpur area of Bihar and West Bengal was that in every agricultural field, we asked the farmers to dig 5% of the land into a water conservation pit.
Okay.
And as you know, Chota Nagpur is hilly and there is an incline in the land.
Right.
And we proved it empirically that if you dedicate 5% of the land to water, then your productivity increases many times more. It's not, you will lose 5% of your land to cropping,
Right.
but from the 95% of the crop, it will not only more than compensate your loss in terms of land area, but it will give you much more, and you will have water for a second crop. I think this model, I worked on that. I even went down to digging pits with the farmers, and I spent a lot of time. And there was a lot of acceptance of this formula. But this is an age-old formula. In if you see in Eastern India, particularly from where you also come,
Right.
every farm, every household had a pokhara or a pukur,
Exactly.
where we conserved water.
Right.
And
I have a pokhara in my village. Yes.
yeah. And unfortunately, because of our urbanization and the breakdown of the linkages that we had with our land and rural area, and people migrating in large number to the urban areas, these age-old practices have suffered. The
Right.
ponds may be there, but nobody is desilting the ponds.
Yes.
Earlier, it used to be a communal activity to
Right.
desilt the pond, or maybe the rich man in the village would give money to desilt the pond. But that is not happening. So all the water is going away as runoff. I think
Exactly.
we have to stop runoff. I think if that we can achieve, I think we can do a lot. There are some other things which I would like to mention. One is that we cannot accept the status quo on industrial pollution of our water bodies.
Right.
The companies are actually externalizing their costs by polluting water bodies. They are putting out untreated effluent into our rivers.
Right.
You see what is happening to the Yamuna or the rivers in other parts of Hyderabad is a pharmaceutical hub, but the river in Hyderabad is toxic. It's
Yes.
toxic.
Right.
It is full with antibiotics. We cannot allow that to happen. And India's development cannot be at the cost of its water resources. As such, we have only 4% of the world's freshwater resources, but we have a large percentage of the world's precipitation. And I think we can really work the miracle there.
But you bring in a very good point that there are so many externalities like industries just choking the watershed areas, polluting our rivers, people building homes where there should be like ponds and village land. Tell me, is it possible because of this external pressures to bring real change that like the Ministry of Jal Shakti is talking about?
I think it is possible. What you need to do is make the relevant policy changes. For instance, I will like to share with you that the government has come out with the minimum support price increases of agriculture, kharif crops. So what they have done very intelligently is that the rise in minimum support price is highest in the millets and oil seeds.
Okay.
Which consume less water.
Okay.
For instance, the rise in ragi and jowar and bajra is 9%.
Oh, all right.
Whereas the rise in the price of paddy is 1 or 2%. Paddy is a water guzzling crop. So we have to disincentivize paddy cultivation in some parts of India where they are absolutely ruining the national treasure of water. Again, sugarcane. We don't need to cultivate sugarcane in India. Sugar is very cheaply available from Cuba, from other parts, Fiji. Buy sugar in the international market.
Right, exactly.
But there are sugar lobbies in India. Many politicians thrive on sugar. But I think this government has the mandate to make that change. Make cane cultivation non-profitable by increasing taxes or putting some tax on water or also the electricity pricing. Farmers are draining our aquifers because electricity is free. I think if we adopt an integrated approach of supporting agriculture in the right areas, of disincentivizing some of the water guzzling crops, allow free import of sugar, so that farmers move away from sugar, because sugarcane is again a very sad story.
Yeah, exactly.
Farmers grow sugarcane and the mills don't pay them, and then the government has to step in. There is so much of grief associated with sugarcane cultivation. I think we will be happy if we do less sugarcane and buy sugar from the international
No,
market.
you bring in a very important question that how should we approach towards the livelihood development of the rural poor and the rural areas matters how water flows in our rivers and catchment area, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And one another thing which I need to emphasize is that we have to also delineate some water bodies exclusively dedicated for drinking water. I
Yes.
think the first charge of water is drinking water,
Mhm.
then comes food production, and lastly, industrial production.
Mhm.
I am not saying that industrial production is not important, but I
Mhm.
think we have to maintain this hierarchy. If
Mhm.
industrial production gets priority over drinking water, there will
Mhm.
be social strife and stress, and we
Right.
don't want that in India. So
Mhm.
I think priority there has to. For instance, I am in New York. In
Mhm.
New York, the water reservoirs are absolutely clarified. Nobody can use that
Yes.
water. You
Mhm.
cannot even dirty that water. You are not even allowed to use a motorboat in these water reservoirs,
Mhm.
and they are linked to each other. There are aqueducts, there are tunnels which
Mhm.
carry the water. The New York water has bought watershed areas. They
Mhm.
bought the land so
Yes.
that there is no urbanization, and
Right.
it only allows vegetation,
Right.
and trees make water, and
Yeah.
forests make water. I think we need to, some of our cities should,
Mhm.
for instance, Hyderabad has a lot of area outside which is hilly,
Mhm.
rocky area. The
Mhm.
water supply board of Hyderabad should not allow
Mhm.
urbanization in those areas, and make sure that the water which falls on those areas are collected in a reservoir, and then that is used for drinking water. Bangalore, I was surprised to read a statement by the chief minister that they will not allow any more construction of flats in Bangalore till the water situation stabilizes.
Yeah,
So I
I
think,
also read that news and it was
yeah,
like very interesting to
very
me.
interesting. So I think all cities have to take charge of their problems.
Mhm.
The solutions will not come from the sky.
Mhm.
We have to find the solutions. And again, I would like to repeat that this focus by the Prime Minister
Mhm.
by creating the Jal Shakti
Mhm.
ministry, the Jal Shakti Abhiyan.
Mhm.
You see some of our opinion leaders and people whom we admire, like Amitabh Bachchan and
Mhm.
Amir Khan.
Right.
They have come out in public and made videos
Mhm.
extolling people to conserve water, and a lot of innovation is happening in water conservation. I think it's a people's movement which is needed, and I think the seeds for that movement are being sown.
Right, because like as we all know that everyone knew about the water problems. Like it's like age old. We built dams, we did massive construction projects, and somehow and somewhere we failed. Right.
Yeah, I think what has happened is that we took water for granted,
Mm-hmm.
and that has been the mistake. We have to be. You see, in very less populated countries such as Norway or Sweden or
Mm-hmm.
Finland or even United States, it's a huge country with, but where the density of population is low. The drinking water and water conservation has always been the priority. They are
Right.
very. It is a sacred line they do not allow people to cross. For water conservation is very much a priority, and I think that focus was missing in India. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the focus is back, and I am so happy. Today I was reading a article, an op-ed column written by Mr. Amitabh Kant,
Okay.
and I was so happy to read that he is also basically making the same points that I had written last week. And in fact, you'll be happy to know that he retweeted my article with a very positive comment. So I think I have touched a chord somewhere in him as well. And the kind of work the Niti Aayog is doing, I think, is remarkable. And the focusing on water, and some of these aspirational districts of
Mm-hmm.
India, which are backward, and where great effort is being made by the government to bring them at
Mm-hmm.
par with other districts in India. Even their water is a focus area.
No, and as you hit the nail, that we have a lot to learn from the world, and but like you in your article, you said we also have an opportunity to lead the world on it. So, what can we give back to the world?
You see, what I believe is that in India,
Mm-hmm.
there is a very well developed knowledge of traditional water harvesting,
Mm-hmm.
whether it is in Rajasthan or it is in Arunachal Pradesh or in South India, the tank system in South India, and some of our irrigation canal system. India is one of the few countries in the world where the irrigation system was developed in the 19th century.
Right,
You
exactly.
remember the dams in on the Kaveri and all that, the canal system. So we have huge experience in water management, particularly traditional water harvesting. We are also very austere with water.
Yeah.
We almost consider water to be godly.
Exactly.
We never
And
waste water.
I have lived in Gujarat, Gandhinagar, like people like 20 years ago, water used to be sacred for everyone.
Water is sacred, and I remember that I have maybe once or twice out of curiosity, I have used a tub, but I never can get around myself to bathing in a tub. At the most, a bucket of water or a shower, and as soon as I am done, as soon as I think I'm clean, I am done with it. We don't waste water. We are very austere in our cleaning, cooking, washing. So the culture is there. I think we just like books, which is Lakshmi. I think we need to have a god of water, and we should worship water. And I think we the sense is there with us, our parents and everybody. We believe that water should not be wasted. And I think if we can ignite and bring out this latent feeling within Indians, I think we can be very, very successful in water conservation. What I also want to make why I wanted to say India can lead the world is that India has to grow. I'm not saying that you stop using water and you bring down your growth. That cannot happen. We are a huge country. We have to grow, and growth will bring prosperity and equity in the country. So we have to come up with a model where growth, water doesn't hold growth to hostage, and growth doesn't hold water to hostage. We have to find a balance where by conserving water, we can really show the world that we can grow at 8% or 9%. We can take care of our poverty, but still our water bodies will be clean and people will get drinking water.
To start any conservation movement, we need a lot of professionals committed to that role. However, I see a lot of disillusioned students leaving the forestry and the environment sector in India and even other developing countries to take up more glamorous roles in IT, finance. How can we change that?
You see, what I believe is that perhaps earlier the model was faulty. We when we were working, we looked at conservation or rural development from a very philanthropic point of view, or no, we are trying to make lives of other people better. I think that model, it was a non-profit model. I think in today's world, non-profit models don't succeed very much.
Yes,
there has to be some business sense in it. People will conserve water if they find that it brings them incomes, it brings them money, it protects their livelihood, it protects their families. I think that change is coming in social enterprises and impact investing and corporates also realizing that social good is sometimes or most of the times more important than private good and profiteering. I think they are focusing. There are some very, very interesting corporate examples. For example, Piramals in Gujarat are having a program for providing drinking water to villages. It's a fantastic model to emulate. Some of these big water guzzling companies like Pepsi, they are also trying to move into a model where they don't deplete the water resources that they are using. I think the answer will come from there, and our professionals will be needed in these areas where corporations, where even non-profit organizations who have a business plan where there is something which is sustainable. Because how much can you pump in money from outside? It runs out and then the project is over. Those models don't work anymore.
No, and I have been running the Indian Environment Network and our platform, paryavaran.com, for a long time now, like 20 years. And I saw there was a stage where there was a lot of disillusionment. But now I see that, again, a lot of entrepreneurs are coming up. And that gives me hope in the environment sector that people can really make a business out of it. And again, put in large scale investments that really are fruitful to it, right?
Yes, I believe that also technology. Technology use in India's water sector is very minimal.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
we are using a lot of energy to pump water into our households. The
Mhm.
municipal corporation pumps water, then it comes to the mains near a house. Then there's another sub pumping station. It puts
Right,
the water near your house. Then you have a Tulu pump in your house to pump water out of the system. This
right.
is absurd. We need to. That is because water is being served only supplied only 2-3 hours a day. Moment you supply water 24 hours a day, the pumping goes away. People know
Right.
that they don't have to hoard water. They know when they open the tap, they will get water, and it is not less efficient than 24 hours water is cheaper
Mhm.
and more efficient than 2-hour water from all
Exactly.
perspective. you
Right.
know but there are these vested interests and mafias who create
Mhm.
this and leakages in the system.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it is not difficult to plug the leakages. Every self-respecting city in the world has 24-hour water. Why shouldn't Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai have 24 hours water? We
Mhm.
have the capacity to deliver 24 hours water, and it is easy to deliver the water in the cities because of the density.
Mhm.
Let's make our major metros, all households in major metros, let them have 24 piped water, and
Mhm.
then the villages will happen automatically because we will have the knowledge base and the resources to do that. But I
Yeah.
think we need to move into such a regime in India very quickly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we cannot claim ourselves to be a
Mhm.
middle income country by the 75th year of our independence.
Yeah, and you hit the nail here, and that's why we created this Day Out with the Stars platform, where the first step towards any successful conservation movement is easy access to experts and knowledge, right? About what worked and what did not work in the field.
Uh,
So,
just a minute, CK. I would just like to say that Prime Minister in his Man Ki Baat asked for
mm,
innovations, and he
okay,
is open to hear innovations. I
right.
would ask your viewers and listeners to log into Jal Shakti Abhiyan on
Hmm.
their website, on
Hmm.
the Jal Shakti Ministry, or
Right.
share with the Prime Minister on mygov.in
Hmm.
your ideas for water conservation, on innovation in
Hmm.
water harvesting, water preservation, protection. And I think some of your ideas may
Hmm.
find acceptance and implemented right around the country.
And right here at Day Out with a Star, we are happy to bring you live on this platform and directly work with your fans so that you can showcase your ideas right here on our platform paryavaran.com and Day Out with a Star. uh, Sandeep, a personal question: how can a diplomat become a vehicle of change?
You see, we are fortunate that we are placed by our governments, and we represent our countries, and we interact with foreign governments, and
Mhm.
we become a interface for exchange of ideas and technology and knowledge. So
Mhm.
I think we are fortunate to be located and placed in such a situation. For
Right.
instance, I'll tell you, I was very impressed by the New York water supply system, and
Mhm.
I wrote about it in my article. And a
Mhm.
lot of people have queried me on that. In
Mhm.
fact, I am so much enthused by this that I am visiting New York Water and its system in the coming weeks.
Mhm.
And I have determined that I will ask my minister to come and have a look at how New York is doing it. If New York can supply 24 hours water,
Mhm.
pure drinking water, better than any bottled water, to 9 million residents,
Mhm.
then we can also do it in Patna. We can also
Yes.
do it in Gandhinagar.
Right. No, no, no. You're totally right on the approach to do it. We have to learn from each other, and the way we have done all over the world, where there are great examples, let's bring them all together. Local examples, national examples, international examples. Everything has to work together, right? As again, your prime minister says, like Indian prime minister, that you have to learn. Everything cannot work on a top-down approach, right?
Yeah, and I think again I would like to repeat that I find this refreshing change
Mhm.
in our leadership's focus on water, and I think this is not a day late in doing this. It is very timely, and I think it has caught the imagination of the people.
Mhm.
And I follow a lot on water issues in the social media, and young people are enthused.
Mhm.
And in fact, one documentary filmmaker approached me that
Mhm.
can you please give me a clip on what you were saying. I want to incorporate it in my film on water. So you see, a small article which I wrote,
Exactly.
sitting in Delhi on a hot day and not being able to get out. I just, I've not been writing on these issues for a long
Right.
time, and my field is different. But I wrote, but I think it has sparked some interest, and I am personally feeling very committed to the issue, and many of my colleagues have appreciated it, and I think I have got a new kick in life at an old age.
No, and you are completely right. And you gave me the kick to restart this program, so I can bring people like you and through you all the real grassroots innovators and professionals again on a platform that they can share their innovations. Again, we will be closing this show, but if you have all your fans, anyone who has any innovative ideas, please share it in the comment section, and we'll certainly get back to you on this, because we don't want it to be a one-stop show. We want to continue it, and we are committed to weekly bring amazing water professionals on this show. We need Sandy. Thank you so much for coming to the show. It was like an amazing opportunity to directly talk to your fans. What message you leave for them?
I would first of all, I would like to thank you, Chandrakishore, and the amazing work you are doing and inviting me to this show. I think all of us are water warriors. All of us survive on water, and it is our sacred duty to conserve water. So I would just ask all of you to please, before you waste any a bottle of water or a drop of water, think twice, and also see what you can do in your communities to conserve water. I think all of us can conserve water, whether it is in our houses, whether it is in our towns, in our villages, whether we do, conservation and harvesting, they are, two sides of the same coin. So all of us, let us just pledge ourselves that we will conserve water. And I think therein we will find the seeds of a water revolution in India and the world.
Again, Sandeep, thank you so much for coming to the show. We'll certainly get back to you with all the comments and appreciation that we get for this show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a very nice day.